Today, I will recap a horror movie called The Silence. Spoilers ahead. A cave research team is unearthing a mine 1,000 feet beneath the Appalachian Trail. They hear an unknown sound. Suddenly they get attacked by hundreds of unknown pterosaur-like creatures. The creatures violently kill the researchers, fly out of the mine, and seek the noisiest areas. Amy is a deaf girl. 3 years ago, she lost her paternal grandparents and hearing in a car accident. On her way to school, she always confronts a group of boys mocking her and joking around behind her back. Rob is her boyfriend, telling her he will pick her up every day even though her parents won't buy her a car. In the afternoon, she goes back home, greets her younger brother, Jude, hugs her dog, enters the kitchen to meet her mother, Kelly, and her maternal grandmother, Lynn. They gossip about whether Rob has kissed Amy, which makes her very blushed. After dinner, she lies in the bed. From her iPad, Rob sends her a video with a flock of creatures flying in the sky. Her father, Hugh, enters the room and tries to have a conversation with her about her boyfriend, telling her he likes Rob already. At 3 a.m., she is woken up by Kelly. Hugh's best friend Glenn visits the family and tells them to turn on the TV. The reporter says the cities of Pittsburgh and Philadelphia have both been hit by unknown creatures. The number of smaller town attacks is continuing to climb. Then the news broadcasts a selfie video about a woman in her car holding a whiteboard written, "Don't make noise." The reporter urges people to stay in their homes, close all windows and doors, and stay silent. They switch to another channel. The male reporter says the unknown creatures are now called blindbat. They were sealed off for millions of years in a cave. The blast caused by a group of scientists exploring the cave accidentally releases them out. National Guard units have been deployed to all affected cities. Amy deduces the worst place for going through this crisis is to stay in the city as it creates the most noise. They decide to move to the serene countryside. On the other side of the city, the public transportation systems all got paralysis. In a carriage of a subway, a baby starts to cry. A man grabs the baby out from his mother and is about to leave him out of the train. The mother decides to leave the train with the baby alone. A few steps away from the train, the baby drops his pacifier and starts crying. Inevitably they are mortally attacked by vicious blind bats. Amy texts Rob that he better go with her together, but Rob replies that he and his family will stay put. They stop at a gas station to fill up the gas tank. Amy walks her dog around. The dog starts to bark. A man with a gun tells Amy to shut the dog up, otherwise the bark will attract blind bats, but he is shot by Uncle Glenn. Then they drive away. On the highway, they encounter a traffic jam on the road. Glenn leads them to another path. Suddenly, a herd of deer run across the road. Glenn suddenly pulls the brake, causing the car to overturn off the road down to the hill. Hugh tries to save Glenn out of the car but fails. Glenn asks Hugh to bring the guns from the trunk to him. Soon Glenn takes one of the guns, he points it to Hugh and forces him to leave. The noise from the car accident attracts blind bats. Back to the car, the dog senses blind bats coming and starts to bark, which draws more creatures attacking the car. In desperation, Glenn fires the gun several times to make a huge noise in a suicidal way to attract the creatures away from Hugh's car. After watching his best friend's heroic sacrifice, desperately, Hugh opens the back door of the car and lets the barking dog run out. After staying quiet in the car for a long time, Hugh decides to go out and check. He quietly walks out of the car and walks a few feet away. Amy's grandmother Lynn starts to cough uncontrollably. One blind bat hears the sound and lands on the top of the car, trying to use its claws to break in. Hugh carefully steps back, picks a metal rod, and tosses it behind to create noise. Hearing the clash, the blind bat swoops to the distant ground to check. Hugh takes the chance to get back into the car and tells them the creature has no vision. Hugh takes Lynn's lighter and sneakily gets back to Glenn's car. Seeing dead Glenn with huge remorse, Hugh lights up Glenn's car. The fire instantly attracts a group of blind bats, and soon the car explodes. The rest of the family members walk out of the car and start to look for shelter on foot. After a while of walking, old Lynn needs a short rest. Jude uses his binocular and sees a house in a distance. In the dark evening, they finally walk to the house. Hugh shakes the metal fence gate to see whether it is open. Accidentally, the bell hung on the top of the door creates noise and quickly attracts blind bats. Soon the house lady walks out with a gun to intimidate the invaders. Her loud criticism makes her the target to attack by blind bats. Soon, she is torn into pieces and eaten alive. Seeing the fence gate is unable to open, they try to use a storm drain to enter. A rattlesnake living in the storm drain hisses at Jude. The hiss gets the snake killed by blind bats and Kelly gets a bite on her leg as well. Hugh distracts them by turning on a wood chipper, crushing the blind bats flying into it, and the family successfully enters the house. The family surrounds Kelly and checks her wound. Amy finds a quiet room and contacts her boyfriend, Rob, by video call. He tells her his parents are dead. She learns that religious cults have sprung up in the wake of the disaster. Lynn, as a former nurse, tells them without antibiotics, Kelly won't live long. So Hugh and Amy carefully open the fence gate without ringing the doorbell. They see blind bats all over the high voltage posts. On the way to the city, they occasionally find corpses. Eventually, they reach the city. A reverend is observing them on a building's roof. They enter a drugstore from its back door. Amy discovers blind bat eggs growing inside corpses. The baby blind bats are squirming inside. Suddenly a baby blind bat hatches. The liquid from the egg shoots right into her eyes, causing a panic scream. The sound quickly attracts 3 blind bats. At this critical point, Amy indicates the fire alarm system. She handles a mop to her father. He lights it up and lifts it close to the fire sprinklers. The hot firing mop quickly triggers the alarm. The noise from it agitates the 3 blind bats, so they fly and bounce around the walls and shelves. After escaping the drugstore, they confront the reverend as he attempts to recruit them in their cult, but the father politely declines the offer. They turn away. The annoyed reverend silently snarls with an open mouth, and it shows that his tongue is missing. The two hurry back home. A few days later, Kelly recovers. Amy learns from the internet that blind bats cannot survive in the cold, prompting the family in planning to head to the north. Also, Rob texts Amy that he is headed north to the refuge. The reverend finds the family's hideout and shows up with his followers, revealing that he intends to recruit Amy. Hugh brings out his gun, forcing the cultists to leave. In the middle of the night, after Kelly enjoys Hugh's big bamboo, they fall asleep. Hugh and Kelly find a little girl at the door. After letting her in, they find she is a member of the tongueless cult. Many phones are strapped to her waist and placed around the house. All of a sudden, all phone alarms go off, attracting blind bats. In the chaos, the cultists break into the house and abduct Amy. Kelly tries to stop them, but got a severe kick on her abdomen, making her unable to stand. Grandma Lynn runs outside to chase. Lynn drags the abductors down and screams in a suicidal way. Soon they all get killed by the coming blind bats. Suddenly another cultist makes Amy a hostage. The abductor forces her to follow the reverend, and they leave the house. The reverend shows a gesture implying Hugh better not make noise with the gun. Hugh and the rest family members chase the cultists with knives and farm hoe. They successfully save Amy and kills most of the cultists, including the reverend. Weeks later, the family treks across America and arrives at the refuge. Amy reunites with her beloved Rob. From then on, they start to hunt the blind bats with arrows every day. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe and share. Click the bell button to get notifications. ShameleSis will bring good luck to your life in the next 30 days. See you next time.